for starters, I'm going to ask you a question that I always ask anyone I talk to who has had the privilege of working for Donald Trump, and that is simply, what was it like working for Trump? Tell me, I have to know.
I think it's a lot like you'd think it would be. There are some surprises. You know, obviously he's very fun to be around. He has just a broad knowledge of culture in general. This is a man that's dominated all different, he's dominated in business, in television, in real estate, in politics. You know, his cultural knowledge is vast, so he can tell a story or have, you know, share an experience about almost everything. That's fun to be around. But I also found him to be an incredibly gracious boss and somewhat down to earth. You know, when you're working for politicians, I would see this firsthand. They're very demanding, or very, you know, they have very particular needs when they're on the road, or they're, you know, they'll be, you know, they'll yell at their staff if everything's not perfect. He was kind of go with the flow. I was his aide and with him 24/7. And I can honestly say he was not very demanding and pretty down to earth. I enjoyed every minute of it. And working at the White House in general is just such a privilege.
That's so good to hear. I've heard that from other people who've worked for Trump as well, that he is, you know, he gets such a terrible rap in the lefty morons who run those mainstream media outlets. But that's what I've heard. Yeah. He's very, very good to work for. You know, he's kind to his staff and, you know, forgiving if they make a mistake. Is that what you found about him?
That is what I found, yeah, especially with the junior people. You know, he's pretty demanding of senior officials, and I think rightfully so. But with any of the junior staff or with the people that worked at the White House, you know, the people that take care of the lawn or the maids or the valets, totally gracious. And obviously he's a very fun boss with a great sense of humor. So I like that. You know, as you've seen from our social media, we have fun making fun of people or being light or creative or, you know, just having a good time. So that was really fun to be around.
Oh my God, that sounds like a lot of fun. And I tell you what, I have my fingers and toes crossed that Trump gets returned to the White House this year, because I fear for the fate of the world if that does not happen. Now, John, I spoke in my editorial about your dating app, Right Stuff, which is a dating app for conservatives. What inspired you to create such an app?
Yeah, when we were leaving the administration, my colleagues and I were thinking about what to do next. And it's not like Democrats. You know, Democrats get to go anywhere, do anything. They get put on the board of Netflix. You know, they get totally hooked up. Republicans, you know, we kind of have to figure it out. And if you stay in politics, your options are limited. You have to work in a think tank on DC or find another political campaign to work on or become a lobbyist. You know, you can make a nice living, but it didn't appeal to us. So we were looking at the landscape. We saw that the alternative tech stuff was becoming very big. You know, the right-wing version of YouTube, the right-wing version of Twitter. So we thought we wanted to do something in tech, something more entrepreneurial. And, you know, a girlfriend of mine said, you know what you need to do is make a dating app for Republicans. All my girlfriends, they only want to date a Republican guy. And I thought, wow, that's an amazing idea. We sort of thought about our own experiences on apps, on dating in liberal cities in America. And I lived in New York, I lived in Washington, D.C., San Francisco. Like, how do you find other conservatives easier rather than trying to go on a mainstream app where no one's being honest about their views because they're afraid of the hostility they're going to face? So you're kind of trying to ask questions and poke around and, are you religious? Or, you know, what do your parents do? And you're trying to kind of see, is this person, you know, view the world the same way? What we thought was, this is a great opportunity to just put everyone in one place. You know, if you go here, you know, you're right of center politically and you're looking for a normal dating experience. So that's what we're trying to do with the Right Stuff. It's been pretty successful. We've had 10 engagements and 1 official marriage already. Aww. So it'll be an exciting 2024. Yeah. I went to the first Right Stuff wedding, and that was pretty fun to see.
Oh, that's lovely. So everyone, it is a dating app that actually garners results. And, you know, the thing is, John, I've noticed that over the years, you know, conservatives and leftists have wanted to date each other less and less. I think conservatives initially were much more tolerant of dating leftists than the other way around. We generally think, oh, you know, darling, you're wrong on a number of things, but look, you're entitled to your opinion and I still love you for you. But the left has just been like, no, conservatives are evil and they should all be shot. You know, it's a totally different mindset. And now conservatives, I think, have cottoned onto that and have floated even further away from wanting to date leftists. Is that a similar observation to you?
Yeah, as the country's become more divided, it's very unfortunate, but it's hard to date, let alone marry someone that does not see the world the same way. I think in the past, Democrats and Republicans, for the most part, still had the same values. They might have differed on economic policy or different things, but they still shared the same faith. They still celebrated the same American holidays. They still had the same customs and traditions and ideas about family. Now that that's been divided and we don't agree on even those things, it's hard to date, let alone marry someone like that. You know, it's hard to bring, children into the world with someone that doesn't want to raise them religiously, if that's how you feel, which most conservatives do, as an example. So I think as the country's gotten more divided, it's unfortunate. I wish this wasn't the case. I wish my app actually wasn't needed, but unfortunately it is needed, so we're filling that need.